It's something that I talked about in my talk 2 years ago. And I think I called it part of the 5 rules that Gene lives by. And people were actually asking me to put them in my notes, because the first one was that these states are temporary. Because, I've been through some really hectic stuff in my life. I mean, I'm in my 4th marriage, and I'm pretty sure it's the right one. So I've been divorced 3 times, married 4, laid off 4 times. I've relocated, I don't know how many times. I have 3 children, and every time I have a child, everything in my life changes. And, all of these changes going on. And it would have been so easy at almost any point for me to just say, well, the heck with it all. This is just my life. And I didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it. There was something inside me that said, no, there has got to be more. There has got to be more to life than this. And I went after it. And I think everybody has to find that why. What is it that drives you? What motivates you? What is your purpose? What's your passion? And go after that. And if things get in the way, by God, let's find out what they are and let's get them out of the way. Whether it's therapy or music or dance or NLP or meditation or whatever it is. I have my toolbox, and everybody's got to have their own. But what rewards me is to support people in their search for what motivates them, what helps them be successful. And for me, success is it's very individual. Everybody has their own definition of success. And as I'm coaching people, I want to find out how you define success, and I will help you be successful in your way, because it's not the same for everybody at all. Yeah. Anybody else want to comment?
Gene, I'll just add that sometimes, like, one of the tools that I use that works for me is when I find myself on the odd occasion saying something negative about me, like, oh, that was a stupid thing to do. Rather than put that language in my head or in my subconscious, I've practiced shifting to, instead of saying that was stupid, I'll say, that's unlike you. There must be a different way. You're used to doing it a different way. Let's go back and figure that thing out. So it refreshes something that's already positive about me. And I actually get to literally say it to myself rather than letting that thing, that word stupid, sit in my head and in my heart.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a great way to do it. I forgot who suggested this to me once, but someone suggested that I say cancel. Might have been a therapist. Now that I think about it, that if something kind of just slips out, then you just say, oh, cancel. Or I know someone says, got a blanket around me, or someone might say, rewind. It's just trying to get those thoughts to rewind. And really, I kind of like that, because what NLP is doing is you're reprogramming those beliefs that you took on when you were little that protected you. You're reprogramming it to something that is more in line with what an adult needs now, because we don't need protecting in the way we used to. We'll always have, like females will always have the little girl within us that wants to be loved and cherished, and that will always be true. But the little girl that had to be afraid when she was 3 doesn't have to be afraid in the same way now. She can still be fearful. But some of the things that we put into place to protect ourselves are no longer serve us, and sometimes, can keep women from reaching different levels in work because of what they believe about themselves. For men, it's the same thing. I can speak more for women because I identify as woman, but it's the same thing with men. I know of a gentleman whose father used to tell him that he didn't manage his money well. And he never really pictured himself as having much money because he thought that if he did, he wouldn't manage it very well. You know, so it's not gender specific, unfortunately. But for me, that's the interesting part of human behavior.